So today what I'm going to teach you is we are going to create a portfolio using React. So the above is a VS Code, and on your VS Code open the terminal, and first when you open the terminal we need to create my React app. npm create wait that is my React. So don't worry about this. This is a folder called my React app. I started with that, so it's not something. And then we enter that into the terminal. Saying for description, check this video. Now, if we run into such a problem, so after running our commands, npm install, and this is the structure, the default structure of our VS Code. So what you need to do actually is install VS Code, install Node.js, so that you have the Node modules for your React app. And I've installed that. Then you run npm install, npm run dev, and it will shows our will run in our localhost 5173, and then we come back to our React. What we're going to do is we're going to code now. Write code dot and run it. It opens another window. Now this is where we will code for our my React. Notice here this time the VS Code always has VS Code always has something called this is cloud. So an AI called cloud. We're not going to be using AI today. So one thing you need to know are the node modules. These are the node modules, and the node modules contain a lot. And the examples of the installed packages, the white packages, the React, and the React DOM in the node modules. Next, we are going to look at public. Now, public stores static files, including images and icons, and even videos. Then, after that, we are going to look at the SRC, which is the most important folder. It contains components, pages, styles, and React logic, and the assets. Now, step 4 is to clean this project. So inside our SRC, the app CSS here, we need to delete everything inside it, to clean our apps CSS. Then delete inside our app.js. We're going to delete everything again inside it. Go through there, and inside our index CSS, we're going to clean everything just like that. Now, in our SRC, we're going to have new folders. In our SRC, just like that, we're going to create new folders, and these folders gives us a professional folder structure. So first thing, we click here to create the first folder, and let's call this assets. And inside assets, we already have an asset. So inside asset, let's delete this and delete this. These are images. You can see them. Now, inside our asset, we create an images, not a folder, but a file called images. Images slash, and we enter. Then inside our asset also, we create another one. We call it icons. Icons slash, we enter. And inside our assets also, create another, not a folder, but a file. Inside our asset, we create another one called videos. Now, this is just a very simple way to understand the folder structure. Now, what else? Inside our SRC, now we create a folder called components. Components. Now, we can create another folder also called pages. Not a file. A folder called pages. Inside our SRC, then create another folder. Component pages. What else? Layouts. Layouts. And then what else? Create a folder called styles. Another folder inside our SRC. Then hooks. This will help us a lot. Then we have context, since we can be able to reuse our code. Inside our SRC, we can create services. And inside our last folder, we can call it utilities. Utils. Just like that. Now, inside our components, now inside our components, we're gonna create files. The first file is gonna be a navigation bar, a nav bar dot JSX. Then another component that we're going to create, so that we will be reusing these components. Call it about.jsx. Another component that we'll be reusing inside, not about, I think our components will have what? Let's rename this. Not about a footer, since we're talking about footer components. Footer, so let's not the spelling of footer is double O. Footer. And then create another component inside our components, footer, button, and the card. Button JSX, and then we create another file called card.jsx. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are 4 components. These are reusable, and it will save us time during our development. So since you see, if we create it, they just appear now, and a lot of windows here. Now, what else in our pages? Now, in our pages, we create another file. The first file, let's call this file what? Let's start with the project JSX file. Project. Since we're creating a portfolio using React, so we start with the project, where our projects will appear. Capital P. JSX. That's the first. Then in our pages, then we create another one. Let's call it contact. Our contact. Contact.jsx. There we have it. Inside there, create something else called about.jsx. Inside the pages. Now we create another file called home.jsx. These are 4 files, and now since I've created that, what we're going to do is we're going to our styles, and in our styles we create a file for the styles that we'll use. Now in our styles, let's create a file called main layout. Main layout JSX. And in our styles, our styles will put CS. So we start with our home.css. Then our styles, another file. This is the beauty of call it nav bar CSS navigation bar dot CSS. What else do we need here? global CSS. Let's go to global. Add something. Global CSS. These are three CSS files we have created. They have sent. Now we're just creating files. Now what we'll do next is add code here. We'll go to run this and you'll see how wonderful. Not index CSS. We'll just leave it there. Now what else? Our layouts. Look at our layouts. Main layout JSX. Add a file. Call it main layout dot JSX. Our layouts. What else for our files? Now our hooks. Utils, util style services, hooks and context. Now for our hooks, create a file. Utils, not utils, hooks. For the hooks that we'll add here, use theme JSX. Use hooks at all, they are interchangeable. Use theme.js. Use theme. JavaScript. Now, another hook that we'll use is the use fetch. Use fetch. JS. Our context. We created the context. Now the context, we had a file called theme context. Theme context dot JSX. And our services is where we put our API. And another file, we call it API.js. The last which we created now is our utils. There we have it. Create a file, format.js. Help.js. Now, step 3, we are going to create our app JSX and so now we already have our app JSX since we cleared it and our main JSX. Now what we're going to do is we're going to configure our main JSX. Now what we're going to configure here is we're going to import React from React. Now if you see our main JSX here, it has strict mode. Now what we're going to do is remove the strict mode and then put React. Import React just like that. Not that. Import React from React. And put something like that. Now, then we're going to do the React DOM. Now next, for creating root, import the React DOM. React document object model from React DOM client, and then it like that. And that is again. Now, then we're going to import another, which is import so the small import 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 app application from that's a very simple. What else? We are going to import our styles, and what we'll be importing we should have cleared this, but I wanted it to be very fast, so what I will do, we will import. No, we are not going to use this model because this is a default model for creating. Now we're going to create our own model, which we'll be using to create our code. We go to styles, dot the file called styles, and inside styles we find global CSS, and it there. Now after we import our styles, more or less, this is in the main JSX. Now we're going to create a root. In our root we add a React DOM, create root, document get element ID, we render, and in our render here we are going to put React strict mode app So React strict mode, and then here also we are going to put React strict mode. You see, it appears directly if you are using Visual Studio Code. And then after we finish, I put something like that at the end of our code. I think we have to remove this comma. That's the beautiful thing about using our React. Now, for us to understand our main JSX, now this React.dom, this connects our React to the root. Now, what is the root that I'm talking about? In index HTML here, we have a called and we have ID it as root. Now, this is the connection. If you come to our main, this connects it, and that's how we do our main JSX. So, what we're going to do next is we're going to configure our app JSX, which is right here. In our app JSX, how to configure it? We're going to import the navigation bar. Now, this was at our layout. The navigation bar. Now, it was in our components. Where is our components? Contents, components. Now, I want us to change something in our components. You see, this footer, I think we should use capital. Should put a capital in front of everything. So we just rename it. Just rename. And we come here and put a capital F. Same as C. Also there. Just rename. Come here. Put a capital C. And also the button. Just rename. And put a capital V. That's it. So we come back to our app.js JSX. Now app.jsx, what we're going to import is the nav, not a capital nav. We're going to import the nav bar. The nav bar from components, nav bar. Just press tab. Then what else we are going to import is we are going to import home. Import home, which is a capital, and we're importing home from our pages. If you look at our pages, home JSX, import home from where is our home? Is in the pages. Dot stroke pages.home. There we have it. We have import our home from pages, and then what else we are going to import is we are going to import our footer. Remember, our footer is in the components. We change it to a capital F. Footer from the components to the done. Import import footer from components. Yeah, there we have it. Now after that, let's just skip one thing, and then we create a function app, and inside it we div the navbar. Inside we return, and inside the div, let's not put a class. Return, and then, but inside here, inside the div, let's remove this. Let's remove this class name inside this JSX for it to be like that. So we just return with no name. We return the home, the footer, and the div, and then we export our default tab. Export our default tab. Now that's just simple. Now step 3, inside components. It's very good for you to start with the layout so that when you're typing, it just comes out automatically. Now inside our navbar component, inside our navigation now, we want to put some code inside there. So we go to our components, and inside the navbar, we're going to add some code inside the navbar. So let's just start by function. Let's call our function navbar function, and inside we're going to return we're going to put a link because it's a navigation, and the link we're going to put home, about, and the contact. And then we're going to export it as a default navbar. Now, if we look at our navbar, where's that file? Now, since we're creating a portfolio, realize we need to add something in our components. Services, utils. When we come to our components, we need to add more. We need to add contact. We need to add a contact file. Well, we can put up, but these are, we can put it in our pages. file, our pages as contact, home, and projects. Now, that's our navigation bar. Now I want us to go to the CSS part of it, to our styling, the navigation bar CSS. Since our nav.jsx has this, and our nav.csx has this, so what we're going to do, we're going to add styles. The first styles is the nav bar. Now, what we're going to do in our navigation, in our nav bar, so in our nav bar CSS, let's design this navigation first. Putting some CSS here. Nav bar. What we're going to display is facts, justify content to be spaced between. Now this is one of the, we can do that, but then we can come to change. Let's add our padding to be something like 20 px, 20 px, and then put a comma and 60 px, and 60 px like that. Our background color, we can put it at that, or we can use the RGBA, which is very important. We can do the RGBA, and inside the RGBA, we are going to do 0, 0, 0, 008, 0.8 at the end, something like that. So we expect our background color to be something like that, somehow black. Now, what we're going to put the position, what we're going to do here, after the background color and our padding, I'm going to add something else. Let's put a backdrop filter. A backdrop filter, just like that, to be 10 pixels. And then our position, let's not put it at fixed. Let's put it at sticky. Sticky position. What else? What we are going to do, and then we put our top at 0, just like that. Our Z index, no, let's leave it at here. This is the nav. I want to put a Z index here. No need for that. Just leave it at there for our navigation, for our nav. What else? What we're going to do now is the logo. Now, if we go to our logo, put a font size at 20. Now, if we just press tab, we can change here, put it at 20 pixels, and then the color. We want our color, the color of our logo to be something like blue, just like that. That's the logo. What we're going to add is the nav links. then they should display flex. Now just click our tab, they should display flex, and then we add something like the list style. The list style. The list styles, we put it at null. And with the gap, we can change the pixels to be 30. What we're going to do is the null links list. And inside the null link list, we can just put that. Now, we're continuing with our nav links. Now, on nav link, we're not going to put an air here. And we don't put a color. If we put a color, let's not put a color here. Let's just display it as flex. Display. Display, and then put it at flex. Now, I'm not going to put all this, but if you put all this, it gives it an interactive outlook. Not the display. Now let's put a cursor pointer. Just like that. The cursor to be pointer, and then transition to be 0.7 seconds. Just like here. Yeah, there we have it. Now, what else? We can put our hover. Just like that. Nav link hover, and then we put a color, and then we put a transform inside here. Transform. We put a transform, and inside the transform, put a translative y. Inside the translative y, we put a negative 3 pixels. Transform translative y to negative 3. Oh yeah, forgot a nice. So this is for our navbar CSS. Now what else we are going to add here? Is in our components, we can add something. Components. What do we add here? We can leave it at that. No need to add a lot of styles. In our card components, we can put this following code. can put the following functions, and let's just call it card. Card, and inside the prop, what we put inside the prop, let's put a prop inside here. Inside, let's put the word skill. Let's put the word skills inside there. And what we're going to return here is a div and our class name. We'll put something like that, and then we'll export our default card. You see, the beauty thing about Virtual Studio, it always gives you in our home JSX, our home page. We're going to go to our pages, and in our home JSX, we're going to import card. We're going to import card from components card. If we look at our components, now the card should be a capital here. Capital card from components and card should be capital. See, but it's becoming a little bit messy. Import card from the components card. And then we're going to import something else. Going to import styles. We're going to import our styles from home CSS styles. And in the function home, we're going to put our skills. JavaScript, React, CSS. Let's just put these 3 skills inside there. We're going to add the rest. So that's it. That's it for our home page. Now we're going to go to our styles and the home CSS. Our styles, and inside our home CSS, we're going to generate first for the skills. We're going to do the skills. we start with the cutout there, the skills. Skills section, display flex padding. So give our padding to another 100, let's 100, 100. Flex here in our padding. And then we have a background, display flex, justify content. Can do a text align center. Then what are we going to add? We're going to add something like background. Background, let's give it something like what? For skill section. Make it a bit attractive. Let's give it something like that. What else? So we're going to put the skills grid. Skill grid. Skills grid. We're going to display grid max width. Let's leave it that way. Then we go to the skill card. Skills card section. We'll do that. Then come to the skill card hover. And add something like a background. And color. Of course, we're going to change this to be something like that. Do something like that. Something finish to improve the. Now, what we're going to do in our card JSX now here. Let's do something called a project card. In our button, it's becoming very challenging. Now coding is very easy. So what we're going to do next, I think we're going to the pages. Now pages are projects. Projects we are going to import card from import card. Capital C. Card from components card, yeah. And then we're going to import styles. Import styles also. Import styles there. Then we're going to start our project. Inside the icons projects, we can just add something like that: project A, project B, project C, and export our card to default. So, web application, a mobile app, yeah, and a backend, something like that, to add that. Now, in our styles, inside the global, let's do something called projects. Project. So let's design our projects. We can display flex. Now we're going to do a projects grid, projects card. Yeah, just do that for us to make it faster. Project card hover and project grid. Grid. Not to project grid. We can change it. We can always change this color. Put something like that. Color is very important so that it can be seen. And let's go to our hooks. The USTM.js. I'm going to import USTM.js. I'm going to import the use state. I'm going to put curly braces. Import the use state. State. From React. Inside, we are going to create a use theme. We're going to put something like that, and we're going to const. We're going to const, and the theme we're going to put dark mode and let's put it as dark mode theme. So I'm going to state it dark mode and set it dark mode, and the use state we put it as true. We're going to function and toggle that theme. Inside we're going to set dark mode. Set dark mode. CP. Inside our set dark mode, we're going to put not dark mode to make the code shorter. I'm going to return dark mode to that thing. Return. Let's put an opening braces here for our return. Dark mode. Comma. Double thing. I think that's one of the hook. Now what else? I think we're going to view, then come to terminal. And in our terminal, we want to install an animation library. So we need to type npm install a OS. Run this. Now if we perform it, then we come to our main JSX. There's no need for us to, we can add all this animation. What we're going to do is we're going to test the app first before we add a lot of things in it, and it becomes confusing and a little bit challenging. So we're going to do an npm, and then we're going to run. So of course, let's just find the help and enter. Now if we want to open this in our browser, we can do that and enter. And there is our React. But if you see it that it has come like this, no, that means we have a problem. Now, if for a time we're going to fix this, so we're going to have to fix this. So how do we fix it? Come to our problem section, so put terminal. No, our code has a lot of problems, that way it's not running. We found a problem. We're going to fix that problem. Find where the problem is. Since we have found a problem that our code is not running, we need to come back to our components. So we start with the components. Now, I want us to delete this component. And inside this our components, I want us to go slowly by slowly. Add another file. We have this file. We had our navigation bar. Let's add an hero file. Hero.jsx. JSX. That's one. Inside our components, let's add another file. Let's add an about.jsx. What else can we add in our component? Hero about. Let's add our skills file. That's why it was not working. .jsx skills. What would we add here? Just rename these skills. I've forgotten to put a capital later. I'm really sorry about this. Taking you guys slowly. Caps lock S. Inside our components, let's add something else. Skills about projects. Inside our components, let's just add another project. Skills about. And our contact. Our contact.jsx. So we have about, skills, projects, contact, and the footer. Contact footer and our navbar and the hero. Now, I want to do this again. Let's forget yeah. So we have that. Now let's come to our CSS, our styles. Now the styles need to be the same with what we have created. We have the global, the home. Let's send this home, and let's delete our home. Let's delete it. Nothing. So in our styles, no, we delete the styles, pages, services, styles here. In our styles, since we have the global, the nav, we're going to a footer CSS. Let's put footer CSS. Add another one. Skills CSS. Can add another one. Let's put the hero CSS. Hero about CSS. Previous select components about hero navbar. What else? What are we missing? Skills about projects. CSS. And then we go after our projects, we go to something like our contact CSS. Now let's go to our main file. We configure our main file. Let's look at our main file. Our main file looks okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the navigation bar JSX. And in our navbar, I think we have put home, about, contact. Now let's add the project. Add projects. What else? Since we're not calling this my website, let's call it what we can do here is before this function here, this idea, we can import our styles. Import the styles for the navbar CSS. Import styles from our nav. So we do that, and then we just start by that, and then the function is navbar. And before we return anything here, we can return a nav and put a class name inside this navbar. Now let's put a class name. Let's call it navbar. Now let's put a h2 here. H2. Change that to h2. We put a class name here. Class name. Let's put a class name. And the name of this class call it logo. Let's call it logo. And here we can do something like this. Then another list. Now let's put another class name and put nav links. And in the list, let's remove all this inside our list to be just something like home. This. Yeah. Then we do a list. Inside the list, we just put something like home. Just like that. And the list goes on. The next thing we're going to put is a list called projects. Next is going to be like that. Projects, contacts, and then about. List. About. When that another list. Come to the nav. And export by default. This. So this is the nav bar. Make it very simple. And what we're going to do, we're going to style this nav bar to give it a style. The nav bar, the logo, the nav link, and the nav link list in the nav folder. You can leave it up there, so it's not a bad design. Now, we're going to come to our hero, JSX here, and we're going to import first the styles. Import, and inside the import, we're going to do something like this. And our styles.hero, yeah, the function dot hero. First of the function section name hero. Now on H1, let's do something like this. Say hello. Inside, put script. Something like that. And then if we end this p. Now once after this, let's put a button. Let's put a button here. This button. And say this button. Can't have it. And say the button. Center. And say view projects. Caps. View projects. So let's take a look at that hero which we have created. Now, what we're going to do next is very simple. We're going to style this hero and give it a good look. So that if you look at our website and a good hero, well, this can take time, but don't worry. Now we're going to our hero CSS. Now, of course, we're starting with our hero. Good hero. Good hero. Inside the hero, we start with the height. Put our height at 90. It has to be 100. And then our display to be flex. Our flex direction to be column. Then I justify our content to be center. Align items to be centered, but we can put a background color. Say background and color. The background can do a hash. This background is a black one. Now, that's for the hero. Now what else can we do? Hero H1. Also is color. Let's put the color. Now remove this margin button. Hero P. Tab it and then just remove this to have just a color. Font size 22, just 2 pixels. What can add here is the dot hero button. Inside the dot hero button, can do our padding. Not bad padding. And then you could do a margin top. 20 pixels and our cursor to the pointer. So we're gonna close that. So that's our hero. What we're going to do is going to go to the about section, the about CSX, and first we import styles. About import z braces dot style dot stroke styles stroke of the hero, the about. Then our function called about then the function called about we return enter. So this function enter return enter put a section class name about inside them do h2 header 2 and put about 2 inside that header 2. Of course we'll put a paragraph and then our section. And after that we export our default about. Very simple like that. And then just come to the about CSS and we're gonna do dot about and we're going to add padding. And in the padding we just put 80px to 20px and we're going to text align it to center. Just a simple one. Step 3, we're going to the skills.js works. In the skill section, first we start with our import. I'll see how our project is coming about. Stroke styles stroke. Now we're going to skills.css. The function is skills. Enter. Cost skills. Into the skills. Do something like this. Start with JavaScript, React, CSS, enter HTML, Node.js. There, and of course we return class name, skills, enter, can do a h2, tab it, and the h2 is just put skills. It's not necessary to put that it becomes my skill. Then let's put a div. Then we put a class name. Put this like this, and then not skill list. Let's call it skills contain. No. Skills container. Then skill map, skill index. Yeah. I'm going to do another JSX dot. Inside we're going to div, then I'm going to give class name. Class name, let's call it skill card, and the key is index. Tab it, and then skill card. Skill card. Key is index. Directly something like that. Skill, we end our div, put our tab there, then enter, start div, up to the section, enter, export our skills. This is as simple as that. Now, what you're going to do, we're going to style our skills CSS. Inside our skills CSS, we start with a dot skill, and inside the dot skill, padding. Oh yeah, no, it's working. Now put a skill container. Skills container. What else? The skill card. The dot skill card. Now background padding to be 20 and the border radius. I can just remove all this. There's no need for us to add a lot of design. Now projects.ds. As the if we're going now project JSX. So we're going to import inside our import. I'm going to do this with styles stroke project. So now we're going to create a function projects, and after we've created a function project, we're going to const projects. And inside this is something like this. This is a problem here. Let's do this. Web application using React. To them, then we are going to return, take it slowly, section class name projects is 2, section class name projects is 2, div class project contain enter projects map project index, projects map projects index. Inside that project index, div class project card, of course the key is index. Enter. You can do a H3. H3. Inside the H3 we just say projects. Enter. Can create a P. And inside this P, I say that that's for our project. Now we're going to style our project. I'm going to style our project section to the project CSS. Well, if we're done with that, we can when we come to our contact, the first thing we start by the import. Import the styles. Import our styles. And the styles. Inside the styles, if you remember, we had our contact CSS. In the project CSS. CSS sorry, the project CSS. In our project CSS, of course, we do not import. So we design the project. And inside our project, what we're going to do is we're going to do a padding. And in the padding, we're going to do a 20 pixel and 80 pixels. Just keep it like that. And what else? We're going to text align it to center. Next, we're going to do the project container, which we're going to display flex and garbage 20, yeah, something like that. And then we're going to do the project card. And in the project card, what we're going to do is do a background color. The background color, we're not going to keep it this way. I'm going to use the numbers. Now background color, let's use the #22. A padding of 30. Okay. What else? Border radius of 10 pixel. Since we have already aligned the text, there's no need for this. Back shade and transition. Then I don't want to add a lot of design. Just want it to be something there. MVP, something like that. With, let's put it at 150. Just a simple design from the projects. Then we're going to come to the create contact section. The contact JSX. And then we're going to start with our import. And inside the import, we're going to do the styles, and inside the styles, we're going to do a contact, just like that. And then we create a function, contact, and in that function, we return, come with the section, and we do contact name, section class name, put contact, and then we're gonna do a form here. A form, and then class name, we call it contact form, just like that. Inside the form, we're going to input a text and a placeholder which requires your name. No, we don't have to put it to be required. So here, after that, we're going to put another one for email, then another one, a text area for message, and of course a submit button. This button I just put it to be submit. To send a message just like that. And then and our form and our section. and expect this thing to default, just like that. Now what we are going to do, we're going to style our contact section. Now, in our contact section, the first we are going to come with a contact. Open our braces, padding, data text align, yeah. Then we come to our contact form. Display flex width, align items. Let's just do this. And then what we're going to add after the flex is the width. We put it at 30 pixels. And our margin, we put it at auto, not 0 auto, just auto. Like that. And then we don't need to align the items if we have put the margin. And then we come to our gap. Well, we can put our gap at 15. It's 10. To do it at 15 pixels. Good. Contact input, contact form input, contact form text area. This contact form input and contact form text area. And we'll put a padding on 12 pixels. So what we are going to add also is the contact form button. And then we are going to put padding and cursor width. Contact form, there's no need to add all this. We'll just do that. Very simple. Now, in our footer JSX, we're going to import. What we're going to import here, of course, we're going to import the styles, and inside the styles is the footer CSS. Enter, and then we're going to function our footer. Enter. We're going to return. Enter. Class name footer. Enter. Right resolved, something like that. We end in the footer. And then we just do that. And then export by default. That's it. Now what we are going to do now is the footer CSS. In the footer CSS, we are going to do dot footer. Inside here we're going to put a background, the text align, the padding. I'm going to put the following background. So let's do the background to be like that. Background. So that's it for the photo. Now, what we're going to configure now is the app JSX. Now, I want us to clear all this code. Now to import the navbar, the navbar from components navbar. Space. The navbar import home. Import home. Now, what we have not imported is we've not imported projects about footer home skills. Import skills from now the problem. I want us to remove something here for us to have all this. So in our components, just to delete this, delete context, just to delete this hook. Yeah. Just even to delete the layout. Then delete these pages. Just delete even these pages. Services. There's no need for us to add an API for this. We're just creating a simple project so that it does not become challenging. Now delete these utils so that we have only components and styles. Just like that. We were at our app JSX. Input skills from that components skills. Import that, enter. Then what are we going to import? Input skills. And about skills, input about skill, input hero. Put hero. Oops. Component. nav by input skills. Hero projects, nav projects also. We're going to do input projects, what footer, skills projects, contact. There were 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7. Just like that. And then after that, come to the function app. And then we're going to return. And in our return, I'm going to create a div. It's just a div. Div. Inside that div, put nav bar. And then we have about skills, all of it. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. End of that div. And export to default. Now, if we're there, we're gonna go to something called global CSS. And global CSS, we're going to remove all this. It's very long. And now globally put the body. And inside the body, Tomaji at 0, sans serif. So, then what we're going to do is the background color. Let's put notepad, and then the color. So then we're going to do something like this. Box sizing, body box. Now, all this, I think we're going to open our terminal. Just open the terminal. See the terminal. npm run lib. What you can do, you can just start another new terminal. Let's quit that and then go in. No. If you run it and it works like this, uh, so there's something else we need to do. Now, if you look at what we have an error, we have an error. If you look at our browser, it shows an error, and the error is in our app.jx. Is it app.jx? Since it's a byte, what we're going to do is we're going to our app.jx. Yeah. We've imported all this. Now we're going to import our byte logo. I think that's what is missing. So let's just import what our byte logo, byte logo from asset.byte dot asset.byte dot svg, something like that. Now for this file, for this thing, let's go to file and we save all of this. Global hero footer contact about contact skills or something, projects or something, have something, hero or something, footer or something, contact or something, and about or something. And that's our resource. Should delete this, browse components and styles only. I want this thing to look very simple so that it can easily run. So I'll have to delete a couple of things which I did put earlier so that to make this file run easily. To make it run easily, I'll have to delete something. What else? I want it to become styles only and JSX only. So first, and then I have index CSS. We don't need this, but since it has nothing, we can just leave it there. Styles global CSS. Now devices. There's a problem there here. So our code is not able to run here. Skills DSX does not exist. Oh, see, here skills DSX. Where did we import this? Did we use a small lighter? Debugging is actually the hardest thing for someone to do. So if you come to JSX skills, import skills. Can I do this? Can I just run and then start without debugging and move to a page? So using Web Chrome. This is web page. And you come here. See if it just opens now. It doesn't. Do I need to do this? I have to run all this. Direct. Run my direct. Without debugging. Launch this and you have to remove it. Let's say this launch this. To turn on. Let's just quit. To resolve input, page open does not exist. Having a problem again. So I have to resolve this problem. Now I can resolve this problem. So what I have done, I have gone to Cloud and asked Cloud to fix my issues, and it has fixed a lot of typing issues and all that. And if we come to our terminal here, come to our terminal, and let's quit, and then if we run npm run dev, and then we type and enter. There is it. So this is our portfolio which we have created and which we have created. It has taken us a long time. Front end, I love coding. Can go to the view projects. These are the skills. These are the projects. And that's a simple website which we have created. It's running on our local host using React. Yeah, so have a good one. I think that's the end of our video. It has been long.